What's up, guys? Welcome back to day 19. Day 19 of Q4. I have a very simple message today. I have a very, very simple message, and it's to never quit. So, here's the thing. I know I haven't been like updating everyone as consistently as possible. These videos only get like 4 views, right? So it's not really a big deal anyway. But it ain't about that. What it is about is documenting the journey, even though I fucking there's times where I can't stand it. But the message behind this video is never quitting because here's the thing. I launched this product and the new brand, which I will reveal eventually. Right now it's not the right time. I released it on Wednesday. Today's Sunday. Okay? So we really haven't been running it for too long. Now, I'm looking at my Shopify dashboard right now. Almost $800 in total revenue in the store. And we're sitting right around a 34% profit margin, almost a 35% profit margin. Blessing, man. Crazy. Never quit. And here's why. This is a new brand, a new store that I opened up, new ad account, because I was running in a different niche on my previous store. The one I did like 18, I think it's like 19K in total revenue in that store. Okay. And that was from like May to August. Now, here's the thing. The profits there, like, I think I'm like down 5K. I think I'm like down 5K total, even though my balance sheet only says like 1,700, which I don't know where that other 5K came from, 4K came from, but whatever. Um, After like deciding to move into a new niche, to move on from that store, at least like for the time being, I was definitely like beating myself up. I was like, damn, bro, like 5K on the card, on the Amex Gold card. This shit's ass. What the hell? And like, I was ignoring the fact that this is completely and utterly a skill issue. I really like did not want to admit that. And once I realized that, that's exactly when I decided to sack up, stop being a little bitch, and start this brand. Something that I've been wanting to do now for like 4 years, realistically like 3.5 years now, that I just haven't done. And again, I'll tell more about this story. It's a clothing brand, right? It's a real brand, a brand that I actually care about. And I can't tell you why it took me so long. I'm watching the Blue Jays game right now. Alejandro Kirk just lined up to right field. Anyway, can't tell you why it took me so long to even start this brand. It's something that I know I've wanted to do, right? I don't know. What I do know, though, is that if I quit e-commerce at 20K rev, negative 5K in profit, I would have never done almost $800 in total revenue since October 15th. And it might not seem like a big deal, but what is a big deal is the fact that we're operating at 34% profit margins. If anything, I was operating at negative 34% profit margins before. So the fact that like we got over that hump of thinking to ourselves that it was just bullshit, myself, not ourselves, myself. The fact that I was thinking to myself like, damn, bro, why do I suck? And then choosing to ignore the reason why I sucked. The fact I got over that mental barrier, I think is going to help me out dramatically. And I hope it helps you out too, because you know what, bro? Like, if you're not getting the results that you want, there's an obvious reason for that. Your skill issue is not there. I don't care what it is. Girls, business, ecom, fucking Tinder, talking to your parents, friends. It doesn't matter, bro. If the results are not where you're at, where you want them to be, the reason why they're not is because you have a drastic skill issue. And the only actual way to overcome a skill issue is raw action and then understanding exactly what you did wrong and how you can improve. For me right now, it's about understanding that I was just half-assing the whole testing and scaling process on the last store. The reason why, in my opinion, is because like deep down, I was just in it for the money. I really didn't care at all about the customers. I really didn't care about understanding them. I know that sounds shitty to say, but like you know what I mean? She didn't really care. I was selling in health and beauty. I was selling in health and beauty, and like, it's a soulless thing. Selling to women is the best for sure because they spend tons and tons of money online. But why the fuck do I want to do that and build a brand that I would just be in it for the money for, not really caring about anything with that brand? When I could actually work on something that I do care about, and that's been in my heart, my soul, my mind for years and years and years. What I'm doing right now. And I want to preface this, like, when I say I didn't care about the customers, you know, obviously, like, I really do believe in energy and, like, you know, you got to make sure you're doing things the right way, right? You got to be a good dude. I didn't care about, like, learning why they would even buy from me. I thought it should be, like, a guarantee almost. Does that make sense? It's not that I didn't care about the customers. I didn't care to understand why they would buy. And that, as a brand owner, is like just unacceptable, to be honest. Like, you just can't do that. You can't. You know, I blame that mindset of thinking that it's all about the money. Like, I don't get how these dropshippers like do it. To be honest, like, yeah, like I'm using the dropshipping model right now to build a long-term e-commerce brand. But these serial dropshippers, I genuinely don't know how they do it. It's soulless, bro. You know, unless you like love the game, like you just love like understanding like the psychological levers, then it's not then it's not soulless. Because if you're trying to understand the psychological levers of like, for example, like grandmas and then 26-year-old men and then like the health niche, like you understand what I mean? If you're trying to like understand and like monopolize each niche, each industry, that's a different game. But if you're just in it for the money and the only thing you care about is just like going from 0 to 10K a month, yeah, like that right there is soulless. There's no, I don't believe that's a rewarding path, not at all, right? But like actually building a brand, selling products that you love to an audience that is similar or that you resonate with, similar to you and that you resonate with, that's a different level. That's a different level right there. That's exactly where I feel like I'm at right now. And it's cool. It's awesome. But at the end of the day, like, you can't be satisfied. You know, I've noticed one thing about myself is that, you know, I've gotten good at not quitting. I know that's kind of the message of this video. I've gotten good at not quitting because I'll just like keep going. I will. I'll have my ups and downs though in terms of like where like I'm riding extreme highs and extreme lows, and I got to do a little bit better to ride that wave a little bit less, right? But one thing I really want to develop though is the athletic mind again. Okay, because here's the thing. If you guys have watched my previous videos, you know that former college baseball player, walked onto my school as a walk-on. I walked onto my school. I started as a walk-on, ended as an All-American, as team captain, first team All-Conference 2 years in a row, like a bunch of academic awards. It was crazy, right? What I had back then was the athletic mindset. Never satisfied, never quit, genuinely happy to be pursuing the craft, but understanding that there's always more work to be done. I think that mindset is something that I've gotten away from since I stopped playing college baseball, but something that I'm gradually coming back to, thank God, because I understand the value of it in terms of business. The entrepreneur's mind is genuinely very similar to an athletic mind. And like I think about it this way. I watched this video of Andrew Tate like months ago, and he was talking about how he, like something along the lines of paraphrasing, about how he got to the point with kickboxing to where he knew that he was putting in the work, but again, I'm paraphrasing here, but like something didn't line up in terms of either like the money that he was making or like the money that he was making made kickboxing not be worth it anymore because of his mindset. Because his mindset, his work ethic, he's putting 8 hours a day into kickboxing. Imagine if he did that solely into making money. That was like, again, very paraphrased, but that's what I got from the video. And all he did was take the athletic mind and transfer it into business. And he ended up buying a Bugatti a couple years later, 8 years later, whatever it is. And I started thinking to myself, like, slowly but surely, this has been marinating into my own mind. Like, the athlete works hard, is humble, always open to learning, never quits, is relentless, takes care of his teammates, is a natural born leader, is fearless, courageous. He's the man. He carries himself well. He represents the organization well. That's who I naturally am. That's who I grew up being. And I've gotten away from that, thinking that there's a difference between life as an athlete and life as just a regular entrepreneur. There's no difference. You got to develop that mindset of A, never quitting, no shit, but B, having these kind of character traits, carrying yourself a certain way, constant improvement, Kaizen, continuous improvement, reflecting back on why the season went well, why the quarter went well, why it didn't go well, what you could do better. Doing all these things to better yourself as a human being. If you're not doing these things, you're just coasting in life, bro. And to be honest, I feel like I got away from that mindset. I have my white knee strips in right now. I literally am wearing white knee strips right now. 30 minutes left on the clock. I got away from that mindset because I had no good reason to keep it. And that's the problem. I had a perfectly good reason to keep it. My life. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Don't quit, bro, because this is your life. Develop the athletic mind, the entrepreneurial mind, and pair them together because this is your life. And if you're watching this video, you're not where you want to be, or if you're like me, you're on your way towards being in a place that you do want to be. If you don't have what you want right now, when are you gonna get it? You know what I mean? Like, if I'm not driving the Lamborghini that I want, if I'm not in Dubai like I want to be, if I'm not crafting a legacy brand like I want to be, what am I doing? To me, it sounds like I would be quitting. And that's fucking bullshit. Fuck that. Raw action. Mental toughness. Being relentless. Pursuing a goal. Having purpose. But it's very synonymous with being an entrepreneur and being an athlete. With never quitting and being the best version of yourself. At the core basis, you always have a reason to better yourself. You only get one life. Until you realize that, though, you'll just be floating along in the wind, riding the highs, riding the lows, and not having that easy of a time in terms of staying right in the middle. Not the bell curve middle, but the emotional middle. So the moral of the story is never fucking quit. The moral of the story is develop that athletic mind, pair it with the entrepreneurial mind, get close with God, work on the things that you truly want to work on, because drop shipping shitty products to women in their 40s will definitely make you a bunch of money. Tons. But where's the soul? Where's the purpose? Where's the meaning in that? Unless you're trying to understand humans better. If you're just trying to make money, it's soulless. So you know what? I think I had to drop ship. I think I had to drop ship products that I didn't really care about. What I mean by that is, like, you know, if it was a pair of leggings, or if it was like lipstick, whatever it is. Products like that. If I had to drop ship products like that to get to this product that I'm running now at 34% margins in the first couple of days, to start building a brand that I actually care about. I've had to go through that fire to make this. What a blessing. So be it. But the whole time I knew that I should have been doing this right now. And I was quitting on this dream, this life, this parallel universe, this lifeline. I was quitting on it every time I tested a product that was going viral in the women's niche, for example. That's what I'll leave you guys with. I'll see you next video.